What's going on, everyone? We hope you had a great day trading today, but even if you didn't, that's all right because we have a lot to talk about today to hopefully make tomorrow a better trading day for you. But Tom, looking at the market today, 89% of the S&P 500 closed up in the green today, but as some people will notice, some of the big bad tech stocks were actually the stocks down in the red, which represents a pretty big shift that we have not seen in a long time, and this has some pretty serious implications for the market going forward. So make sure to stick with us all the way to the end today. But on top of that, there's a lot of other things going on in the market, like how the S&P 500 is on its longest streak since 2007, which we'll talk about more shortly. Tesla, of all companies, is looking to release some new candy, so stick around for that. And the market is now pricing in a 100% chance of a rate cut in September. So, Tom, we have too much to talk about today, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, today was a pretty crazy day for the overall market, and you can see that the SPY actually started popping back up towards that all-time high and actually did post a new all-time high today. So right around the market close, the SPY ended up ripping up to 565.20, right around there, 565.15. Honestly, it hit literally as the market closed, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But nonetheless, we did see that all-time high come in, but I will say it was kind of a choppy day until that move towards the end. The market was trying to run up in the middle of the day, and it kept rejecting down off of resistance. But overall, it was good to see that move higher. And like you said, it's not the usual stocks that have been pushing the market up this year. You go and look at NVIDIA today, that's a pretty nasty sell-off, right? And even some of the other bigger stocks out there like Microsoft, Apple, and others didn't have very great days either. So I'm definitely looking at these tech stocks very carefully in the short term, Mike, and I do got to give you some credit. You've been mentioning SMH a lot lately, and very early this morning, SMH started tanking off once again, as it has a lot lately over the past couple weeks.
So another thing that we have to hit on very closely right now is the time of the month we're in, and that has to do with the exact seasonal peak for July. So as we hit on repeatedly over the past like 3 to 4 weeks now, how July is actually one of the strongest periods of the market, or at least the first half of it is. We're now to that, you could say, 17th day of the month where on average, the market tends to slow down and coast for a little bit and actually pull back. So over these next couple trading days, be aware of this historical phenomena, you can say, going forward. Because while the market has been great over these past couple weeks, understand that that's historically how the market normally is. And going forward, it normally slows down a little bit. So definitely keep that in mind. But another thing that ties directly into this is more so what stocks, I guess you could say, will be moving in which ways going forward. So basically all year long, big tech stocks like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Apple, and stocks like that have been just carrying the market forward and just ripping to the upside. But what we're now seeing on the heat map is kind of the exact opposite. We're seeing the big tech stocks actually fall down the most, while we have all of the other stocks that no one has given any love to this year finally move up. And, you could see that whether you look at certain industries like the finance industry with bank stocks today, or even if you look at other sectors in the S&P 500, or Tom, even if you look at IWM, which is the Russell 2000, which we hit on a lot last week, this thing is just ripping in a way that we haven't seen it move like this in such a long time. So going forward, don't just look at you could say different Don't just look at SPY going forward, but feel free to dive deeper and look at certain areas of the market like big tech stocks or small cap stocks with IWM or bank stocks or stuff like that, because different areas of the market are moving in different ways right now, and that is crucial to be aware of.
Yeah, exactly. And, some of these stocks that have been down a lot this year and they're starting to come up are, for example, some of the solar stocks. I know lately we've been seeing stuff like SEDG exploding, right? It was up 12.73% today. And as we scroll back over the past couple weeks, there's been some great movement there. Other stuff like Enphase, for example, has been having a lot of great movement lately as well, up another 2.75% today. And then we've even been seeing the Bitcoin stocks, Mike, like Mara, Riot, Coinbase coming to life as well. 8.7% on Mara today. We're seeing Coinbase move as well. So that's another sector right now that you might be able to focus on that is seeing a lot of good inflows lately. And, whenever you're seeing Coinbase move up 3%, 5% in some of these days and some of these moves that we've been seeing lately, it's creating a lot of great intraday opportunities on the options. And just, the movement in general has been so good with Bitcoin lately, especially since that Trump situation over the weekend.
Exactly. And just another thing to keep in mind is that whether you're looking at Bitcoin or big tech stocks or small cap stocks or whatever else, it's important to be able to adjust and adapt to the market's flows as well. In the same way we say it's crucial to be able to adapt to the direction of the overall market, it's also crucial to be able to adapt to where the money is flowing into and flowing out of, because rotations, just like we're talking about now with, you could say QQQ and IWM and Bitcoin and everything else, are just like the way the market works, right? Like sometimes you have a lot of money flowing into small caps like we're seeing now with IWM, and other times we see most of the action and money flow into energy stocks or gold stocks or whatever the case may be. But also, this is just another thing to keep in mind going forward to help separate yourself from, you could say, the herd and the general crowd. So definitely keep that in mind. But Tom, I'm not sure how many viewers have noticed this already, but we added a new feature to the videos today. Up in the top right corner, we now have the ticker symbol displayed in a much larger format, because TradingView doesn't really allow us to customize the ticker symbol size too much, so we took it in our own hands to hopefully make the ticker symbol much more visible to see. So when we're talking about something, you guys can see not only the ticker, but also the chart period we are on. So hopefully you guys like that and keep a close eye on that going forward. But Tom, tell us more about this rate cut that is now expected for September.
Yeah, so right now there's actually a 100% expectation that there will be a rate cut in September here, and I think that that's awesome to see. I think a lot of traders are going to love to hear that news, and today the market made a brand new all-time high. I'm sure that this played a bit of a role into this, right? But nonetheless, it's really good to see this. There's actually the market's at least not pricing in any chance of a pause there in September. It's a 100% chance, at least what the market's pricing in, that there will be a cut. So I found that very interesting, and I think a lot of people are going to be loving that. So let us know in the comments if you think that the Federal Reserve will actually follow through with this and end up cutting rates in September. They actually haven't officially set a date yet. Powell kind of hints at things, but nonetheless, this is what the market's looking at right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of a pretty big change that we're seeing, because I remember when 2024 first started out, there were a handful of rate cuts expected to happen a lot sooner than September. So we'll see if the market pricing can be correct this time. But either way, it's interesting. And again, it's something that we haven't seen in quite a while. So keep that in mind going forward. But also, the streak that we hit on just a couple of weeks ago just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. So over the past 350 trading sessions, there has not been a decline of 2% or more in the S&P 500. This is the longest streak since 2007. So that's pretty crazy. And what it ultimately goes to show is that the market has been moving to the upside in a very stable and a very consistent way. And we could see, like in 2007, that streak lasted like 900 days. So it's like when the market gets in these phases where it just keeps marching higher and higher and higher, a lot of times that can continue to support itself, but it's more so like once that streak breaks, that's like something to be aware of. And of course it can break at any time, especially with, news coming out at any point or anything like that. But I thought this was super interesting and I definitely wanted to cover it.
Man, of course we have this one right before 2008, right? I mean, that's of course, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, when's the crash coming, right? And obviously every situation's different. Don't necessarily think that there has to be some 2008 crisis happen, if we do have another streak like that. But nonetheless, there could be some fairly big pullbacks on some of these stocks, right? And it would be fairly normal. But nonetheless, it's awesome to see the market on this streak. I think people are continuing to love this nice bullish price action that we're seeing. And I know that like lately over the past couple days, the SPY's been trying to run, right? You can see for the most part, it's been pretty much stuck at the all-time high. But today, with that rebreak, it's actually closed up pretty well. So who knows? Maybe we'll continue the streak tomorrow as well.
Yep, you have to make hay while the sun shines. Just make sure not to get too caught up in that greed though, because that's definitely it's been a killer of many trading accounts in the past. But good stuff there. And Tom, let's now get into the most entertaining news of tonight, which is what is going on with Tesla and their new candies. So today it was found out that Tesla has filed for a handful of trademarks to again make some candy. They have 4 different names that they are looking to trademark: supercharged gummies, cyberberry, mango bolt, and dog mode chill. So how about this, Tom?
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious, actually. I can't believe some of the names that we're seeing there, like dog mode chill. Like that sounds like some flavor of Prime or something, you know, something like that. Supercharged gummies. I was laughing when I heard that one. That's going to remind me of when Elon went on the Joe Rogan podcast. Sounds like there could be like something in there, like caffeine or I don't know, you know, use your imagination, I guess. But nonetheless, these are some pretty interesting candies. And, you know, whenever I heard this, I actually started digging into Elon Musk making candy, and apparently he's been looking at this for a long time here. He actually used to plan on taking on Warren Buffett's See's candies, and I was reading through this article and multiple different sources here trying to figure out what Elon Musk was doing, but apparently he's been actually seriously pursuing making a candy for quite a long time here, and if you guys start to research that, you will find that in the past he's definitely looked into this quite a bit. So I found that very interesting, Mike, that he's done this before, and one of the big reasons was he said that they couldn't find like a good enough candy to challenge the other companies. So one thing that makes me real happy is we might actually get some pretty high quality candy here. You know, Elon, usually when he goes hard in the paint.
Yeah, and Elon is you could say one of those people that it's like every single day it's just like you could like you're almost always surprised. It's like right now he has SpaceX going on, Tesla, X, Neuralink, the Boring Company, OpenAI, and now he's exploring some candy opportunities with Tesla as well. So be on the lookout for this going forward, but interesting stuff there. But Tom, we can't forget that we are back in earnings season, so we're getting towards that point of the week where things are starting to get exciting.
Yeah, and today was actually pretty nice. UNH ended up popping up in a great way, and some of the banks were moving amazing. Like Bank of America was on fire today. So for tomorrow in pre-market, ASML, Johnson & Johnson, ALLY will be reporting, a couple other banks there as well. After hours, we have United Airlines, Discover Financial. In after hours Thursday, Netflix will report. And then in pre-market Thursday, we have Taiwan Semiconductors. You know, I've said it all week long, Mike. Thursday is going to be extremely interesting, but these banks are very influential as well. Like that financial sector today was fantastic considering those earnings this morning.
No doubt. And then what is the economic schedule looking like?
Yeah, tomorrow we do have some building permits coming out 1 hour before the market opens. Nothing too crazy there. Then we do have some Fed speakers throughout the day. Thursday, we do have initial jobless claims, but that's pretty much it for the week. Not too much on the radar here, which is actually a pretty good thing. You know, we can just focus on that price action and all that, or these new all-time highs, I should say.
All right, well, let's get right into the good stuff then, which are some setups and predictions. A stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is ExxonMobil to the upside. We saw a pretty good big money trade yesterday with XLE, which is just tied to the energy sector as a whole. But ExxonMobil is like one of the, I guess you could say, high-profile energy-related companies, and it's also moving in a relatively strong way in the short term. So I'm going to continue to look at ExxonMobil in a bullish way. It started out today somewhat weak, but the buying pressure came in just about like 10 to 15 minutes after open, which was great to see. And it actually broke yesterday's high as well, which again is, just reconfirms that bullish price action. On top of that, we have been seeing pretty good flows across the energy sector as a whole in the short term. So either way, I'm looking at ExxonMobil to the upside going forward. This is not not just a play for tomorrow, but for like the next couple weeks and possibly even the next couple months as well, depending on how the price action develops.
Yeah, the daily chart looks pretty good. These oil stocks are starting to come up pretty well off of this dip. I do like the big money play on XLE that we've been looking at. I even like the channel that it's starting to break out of as well. I'll keep those on the radar for tomorrow. With my first play, I'm looking at UNH for a possible earnings continuation. Ended up moving very well today, up 6.5%. Whenever you go to the daily chart of UNH, it's starting to really get up there and test these highs. So I'm going to look for another continuation tomorrow. I don't think that we'll see as big of an explosion as we did today, but nonetheless, look for those good inflows coming in after earnings. That was a really nice close.
All right, sounds good. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is Teladoc, TDOC, and this is a setup unlike the normal type of setup that I call out. Teladoc is a stock that has just been getting decimated over these past couple of years. It was super hot during COVID when the stock ran up to highs of over $300 a share back in early 2021. Since that point, it has fallen from the heavens, and it's now at that $10 area, we'll say. But basically, they are reporting earnings pretty soon. Basically, July 23rd is the expected date. And we have been seeing a handful of smaller cap stocks start to move in a pretty good and strong way lately. Teladoc itself had a pretty strong day today as it popped up by 9%, and we're seeing a shift in momentum, which is not only good for just longs out there, but it also will squeeze some of the already existing shorts out of the stock. And whenever you see momentum flips, there are a lot of opportunities associated with that. So I will look at TDOC in a bullish way going forward, but I do want to say this one is a lot riskier than the normal setup.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of those shorts covering here will be a pretty good opportunity for Teladoc. A lot of people might not really believe in Teladoc as a company, but for a short-term move, I mean, I could totally see this flying back up, right? This stock has been getting decimated, like you said. That's one of the worst charts I've seen, and with the way we saw it pop up today, I mean, I'm kind of questioning if it's not starting. So I'll definitely keep it on the radar in the short term, Mike. With my next stock, I'm looking at NEO, also to the upside. It's right around $4.92 to $5. So I really want to see a good breakout up above $5 in the short term. And I know the book map's going to look a little bit different than most book maps because NEO just doesn't have the volume that Apple and some of those other major stocks have. But nonetheless, you can see $5 and $4.95. Had a lot of sellers there today. I'm going to really look for NEO to break out above this level. If we start to break above 5, I'll continue to watch this one to the upside. It's another one of those stocks, Mike, that's been falling off. I don't want to say from the heavens with this one. It's not that bad, but actually, you know what? It kind of is. It kind of is that bad. But nonetheless, it's seeing a pretty good move up in the short term. And like you said, a lot of these smaller caps are doing very well in the short term. Even some of these EV companies like Lucid and Rivian. Look at Lucid and Rivian lately. They've been popping. So I'm definitely going to be watching NEO in the short term for a break of 5.
All right. Sounds good. Well, it's now about that time for today's momentum plays, and with the first one, we have NVIDIA to the downside.
Yeah, poor NVIDIA had a lot of negative pressure today. If they end up breaking under 125, then watch them back down.
All right, with the next one, we have Peloton to the upside.
Yeah, Peloton's another one of those stocks that's been seeing a lot of good inflows in the short term. If they break above $3.98 and $4, then watch them to the upside.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Tesla for both directions.
Yeah, Tesla was pretty wild today. It dropped off at open, then recovered right back to resistance. If it can end up running above 259, I'll be watching Tesla back to the upside right above that high of this morning. If they end up pulling back under 254, then watch them back down. And I will say the way they fell this morning was pretty rough.
All right, so we have the downside level for a potential move lower. We have the upside level for a potential move higher. That's with Tesla. Don't forget about the upside level with Peloton and the downside level with NVIDIA. But either way, these three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow if and only if they break through the levels Tom listed. We are looking for strong, consistent, powerful price action. If that is the case tomorrow, then keep a close eye on these stocks for potential day trades. But if the momentum and the true strong price action isn't there, then do not feel the need to waste your capital on a mediocre setup. So either way, keep these three stocks on watch for tomorrow. And let's jump right into today's $779,000 big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol FVRR. So basically the big money today put just under $800,000 into the FVRR 25 strike call options that expire on August 16th of 2024. Looking at this stock, it is a, you could say a smaller cap stock that has been consolidating around for a while, and it's starting to move in a momentum-filled way, which is really good. And this further reinforces what we've already been saying, not only in this video, but we've been saying over the past couple of videos on how we're seeing a rotation out of some of these big tech stocks that are already up so much and into some of these smaller cap stocks that basically have been getting no love over the past year. But again, this goes hand in hand with the change that we've been talking about with the broader market. So definitely keep that in mind. But either way, looking at this big money trade, I really like the risk reward, especially given the recent shift in market flows and positioning. I like how these options are at the money. The only thing I don't like is that they expire somewhat soon, which is August 16th, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes a trade a little bit more risky than normal.
Yeah, and today was a pretty good breakout day. You know, whenever you're looking at the daily chart, this stock was kind of stuck like within this range that I'm circling right here. It was failing to break out, and today I think was that good confirmation and true break of that level. So hopefully for the next few days, we could maybe see some good inflows, maybe come retest like 2650 over the next couple days, which is another pretty big resistance and recent high. So I'm definitely going to keep FVRR on the radar in the short term, Mike. This is a pretty short term play. So, you know, if you're going to get this, it'll be a swing for probably, you know, a few days to a couple weeks. I would doubt it goes any, you know, much longer than that, right? But of course, if you guys want to monitor it, just hop in Discord, ask one of us, and we could always look up the option, let you know if the big money is still in or not.
There we go. But looking at the market right now, like we said earlier in the video, it is still at all-time highs. Some areas of the market are doing very well right now, while others are starting to see profit taking. So while many other traders out there will continue to do the same things that they have done since the start of this year, it's important to be able to adapt with how the market is changing. There's a quote out there that says, you know, you don't want to skate to where the puck has already been, but you want to skate to where the puck is going. So be aware of these market changes that we're seeing right now. To reiterate again, we're seeing a lot of positioning out of some of these big tech stocks, and that does not mean that they're going to crash and burn. It just means that they're changing the way in which they move, and we're seeing a lot of that money flow into other areas of the market. But keep these changes in mind going forward. If you are new to the channel, consider destroying that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. We post all the time, cover charts you won't find anywhere else, cover setups, big money trades, predictions, and a bunch of other great content in the videos every single night. So when you subscribe, you'll get our videos recommended to you more often. And last but not least, we want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, and Tasha in the Stocked Up trading floor. You've been a great member of the community for months now, and you're always super positive, and you're just a great member to be in the community. So huge shout out to you. Thank you for everything, and keep up the great work going forward. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and let's crush it in the market tomorrow.